final score, Wrexham 1, Cardiff 2. Oh, that happened, didn't it? That really is galling, isn't it? I mean, Wrexham had an opportunity to get into the last eight of the League Cup, but not able to take it. Now, I know people will talk about rotation, but it's got to be said, we made 7 changes, they made 5, both sides rotated, and that is the approach which has got us this far. We have no spare midweeks between the last transfer window and the next one. We have to look at protecting the squad and looking at their numbers. So I think using hindsight to criticise it isn't really very fair, if I'm honest with you. But that doesn't make this an easier pill to swallow, in all honesty, because this really was frustrating. And let's be straight here. There's no question the better team won. Cardiff deserved to go through, especially in the first half. They were excellent. Their pressing was terrific. Their passing was terrific. And we didn't really have a response to it. And in all honesty, although in the second half we changed things with decisive changes at half time, it changed the dynamic of the game. Ultimately, once they went ahead again, we struggled to really get momentum going and threaten a second equaliser. So a cruel conclusion to a match that we had such high hopes for going into. Unlike Middlesbrough, where I keep saying we gave an object lesson in how to set up a mid-block, we were too deep. We were forced deep. We were defending in areas we didn't want to defend, and even though the penalty area was crowded, Cardiff still managed to manufacture overloads on the sides of the box and space for the likes of Ashford and Kellyman and the full-backs to get round the side of our defence and deliver. And had it not been for the absolute excellence, and I'm not using that word lightly, of Callum Burton, the game would have been over by half-time. Having said that, we had a tremendous chance to score first. The ball launched over onto the left-hand side by O'Brien, a good ball to find Broadhead, who was looking to exploit the space Capaccio had left behind him after overlapping. He falls it back to the edge of the area. O'Brien's shot is blocked, but it falls kindly for Broadhead, who's about, 15 yards out at most, wide to the left post, but it's a clear size of goal. And he looks to take it early on the wrong foot and mishits it, and it goes wide. He had time to take a touch and get it onto his stronger foot and drill it in. And it was a good opportunity for a player of Broadhead's quality. The importance of that miss is accentuated because 37 seconds after that shot flashes past the post, Cardiff have scored. And, it's a frustrating one. George Thomason filling in as a centre-back in the absence, of course, of Callum Doyle's suspension and Lewis Brunt's injury. And ironically, he makes an error, but it's not a defensive error. It's what his strength is. It's a passing error. Cardiff had already pressed hard to force the ball back to him, and then he's put under pressure by Kellyman and plays a poor square pass straight to Ruben Colwill. Colwill punches a sharp ball back to Kellyman, who drills it across Burton, and Burton makes an absolutely brilliant save, full stretch. It's going in the bottom left corner, and he manages to get a hand on it. But it's Salek who's the sharpest player to react, and he runs up and knocks it into an empty net. And Cardiff have that early lead. Soon afterwards, they're threatening again. Kellyman again on the right, cutting in onto a stronger left foot. Powerful shot. Good, strong wrist by Burton to parry it clear. And then a fantastic save by him after Bacon feeds the ball down into the channel, left-hand side. Ashford sets himself, absolutely smashes the shot from 10 yards out. It's heading into the top left corner. Burton does absolutely brilliantly fantastic reflexes to get his hand up onto it and get enough on it to push it onto the post and behind for a corner. But he couldn't do much 5 minutes later when Ruben Colwill, from a free kick 25 yards out, rips an absolute beauty which slaps the face of the bar and bounces clear. 25 minutes gone, and like I said, if it wasn't for Burton, the tie would have probably been done and dusted. Wrexham really struggling to try and get any sort of toehold in the game. I think that is reflected by the fact that For me, Ryan Barnett had a good match. As an orthodox fullback, he made a number of important interceptions and clearing headers and challenges, but he wasn't getting a chance to get up the pitch and show what his best, strongest game is, because he was too busy in his own penalty area defending. And like I said, this was not a mid-block. This was Cardiff forcing us further and further back. Broadhead and Smith just weren't being given much service to use, although in the second minute of added time, Smith does nearly manage to pull us back when, well, I mean, to be honest, it looked like a foul by Ollie Rathbone in midfield on Ryan Wintle. Ref doesn't give it, and Smith does well to pick the ball up, carry it to the edge of the box, and then drills a shot which wrong foots Nathan Trott in goal for Cardiff, but goes about a foot wide of the right post. Unlucky, because if he dragged it inside the post, like I said, I don't think Trott could have recovered in time. But Wrexham go down 1-0 down, and are fortunate to go down a goal down. Phil Parkinson doesn't hang around. 3 changes at half-time, which have the desired effect. I mean, Rathbone, it's his first game of the season after a nasty injury, and it was strange to see him trying to make all those runs that we recognise and finding it difficult because that guy's got such remarkable stamina. But he had a bit of a tough ride in the middle of the pitch. So he comes off. Also coming off, I felt a little sympathetic for these two, Smith and Broadhead. I think it was necessary to bring Kiefer Moore on, definitely. And Windass comes on as well. But I felt a little sorry for those two because they maybe would have benefited from having changes behind them. But Parkinson's right, he's got to alter the attack and give us more and a play that we can work off. Also, Matty James comes on and he does a really good job anchoring in midfield, and Wrexham improve enormously and start to cause issues. Getting some decent service into Moore, but also we're just snappier off the ball, we're pressing harder, we're driving Cardiff back. Cardiff lose that passing rhythm. Cardiff struggle to put pressure on us, and the first 20 minutes at least of the first half, second half are ours. We had the first opportunity of the half. Moore doing well to lay the ball back for Windass, and typically he takes a shot from distance, a good 25 yards out. It takes a deflection and spins in the air, tiny bit more on the ball, and it would have spiralled over Trott, but he's able to stretch and catch it under his bar. But he's got no chance in the 52nd minute when Wrexham equalise. And it starts off with Barnett doing really well. On the right hand side, he carries it across the pitch and then lays it off to Longman. You really got the sense that Parkinson and Parkin at half time are saying, get close to Cardiff, pressure them and take them on. And Longman, who throughout the game has been cutting inside onto his right foot rather than go at Capaccio, goes for the first time round the outside of Capaccio, beats him, stands in a cross which takes a deflection, spins in the goalmouth, and Moore attacks it with venom. Really does well. I mean, he's got Callum Chambers, high quality centre-back, in the goalmouth, and he just leaves him standing, plants a header past the keeper into the roof of the net. 1-1, 52nd minute, and quite frankly at that point Wrexham look like favourites. The momentum is with us, we continue to push on, and this was our chance to go through. Almost instantly a really nice pass sees a through ball pick out O'Brien, he lays it off, and Longman, this time cutting inside Capaccio, who for the first time isn't sure which way Longman's going to go, drills a shot from about 20 yards left side of centre, which curls looking for to get inside the far post, doesn't quite have enough angle on it and goes wide. Moore at the far post nearly gets on the end of it and gets a deflection onto it, which would have caused major problems for Cardiff. Cardiff then, just like the goal, are allowed an opportunity back into the game through an error. Dobson this time losing the ball. Caldwell fielding Ashford, and Ashford drilling in a really strong strike, but low down to his right again. Burton gets down well and pushes the ball clear. Those quick reflexes and his ability to get down low into the shots in the bottom corners and his strong wrist knocking the ball away, really on show in this match. Wrexham continues to put the pressure on, but Cardiff actually have the only other chance before they scored a decisive goal. A frightening moment for Wrexham when a long-range shot after the ball had been carried forwards well by Colwell, by Robertson, who just come off the bench, takes a massive deflection off Dobson and spins horribly over Burton and just over the bar. We all thought in the commentary box it was in. It was so close. We rode our luck, but 3 minutes later we don't, and we're undone from a free kick. Interesting to see Phil Parkinson afterwards asked on TV whether he thought it was a foul that the goal came from. Parkinson sensibly said he hadn't seen it properly and didn't want to comment on it. Good that he didn't get drawn into that little trick to try and cause controversy, because it's a foul every day of the week. Barnett gets up, doesn't get up early enough, and hits Chambers in the back. Chambers is high up the pitch because Cardiff, concerned by the problems Wrexham are causing in the second half, have changed their shape and gone to 3 at the back. So definite free kick, no controversy about it. Bagan stands up beyond the far post, more initially as marking 2 players beyond the far post, but when he sees it dropping around the far post, he steps inside to try and intercept and just comes in a bit too much. It goes over his head just, and it's a hell of a finish by Fish, who from a tight angle drills a fantastic volley low on target, but just can't get enough on it to scoop it out, and Cardiff have what will turn out to be a decisive lead. Kind of reminiscent of another cruel goal we've conceded, or certainly a goal with cruel consequences, when Jack Stevens scored on the opening day of the season, of course, for Southampton, a centre-back, suddenly finding the technique of Marco van Basten with a volley on a tight angle. Great. To be fair to Wrexham, we responded immediately and responded well. Longman surging down the left-hand side, beating his man Capaccio and pulling the ball back well. Moore, 15 yards out, has got time to take a touch. He hits it first time instead and scuffs it rather. A defender hooks it away, but the shot's going wide anyway. And then moments later, a short corner is fed to Dobson. He whips a great ball into roughly the same area Moore had scored from. He gets it well again, but this time doesn't quite keep on top of his header and puts it over the bar. With 30 minutes left, and with the game no longer really going our way, Parkinson makes his final 2 changes. Issa Kabore, who's only on the bench because Ben Sheaf was named as a sub but then withdrawn, assumed he's got an injury, comes on for Barnett, who was cramping up. It wasn't the initial player Wrexham wanted to bring off. And also Ryan Hardy comes on for Connor Cody, which means we're going to that through the kitchen sink Parkinson technique. 4 at the back, but out of those, the full-backs are essentially working like wing-backs, and this one of them will anyway at any one time. And we've got 2 strikers, Windass behind them, and we are really taking risks and going hell for leather. And to be fair, it could have worked, because straight from the substitution, O'Brien flicks a free kick into the box. Hardy times his run perfectly, and from 15 yards out, heads it on target, but it's too straight, and it's an easy take for Trott. And then a minute or so later, a huge moment in the game as the ball is helped on and Hardy manages to get goal side of Fish and is one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but he just never quite looks like he's going to get away from Fish, who recovers ever so well, comes around the side and firstly stops him from getting the shot off until he's turned and had another go about, and he's got no real sight of the goal then, and Fish gets in the block. In the closing stages, Cardiff push forwards, 7 minutes left, and Davis, who'd come on at half-time on the right and looked very lively and fast, hits a spiteful shot with real pace, wobbling in the air. Burton has to parry it back out the direction it came from. But Wrexham pushing and pushing, just can't get that final opportunity until, right at the end of added time, comes one near twist. Last 2 times Cardiff comes to Wrexham, it's gone to penalties. Nearly does, because Windass on the right hand side after a corner which saw Burton up trying to score is cleared. Windass whips in a cross which is under hit It's cleared. Lovely cushioned little volley by Cleworth square. Picks Windass out again and invites him to have another go. This time he tears it in with vicious shape to the far post, looking for more. The Fish is distracted by a defender right in front of him, waving his foot at it, and sees it late, and from 6 yards out gets a foot on it, has no control over where it's going, and it speeds a foot wide of the left post. Matty James's corner is cleared, and the final whistle goes, and Wrexham have, to be honest, spurned a chance to be in the quarterfinals of the League Cup, which would pain me to say it anyway, but having spurned it against Cardiff City, of all teams, really makes it a little bit more bitter. Cardiff fans thrilled, plenty to crow about. Wrexham, though, well, let's just focus on the league and winning the FA Cup, With a final score of Wrexham 1, Cardiff 2, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.